It's time for Florida State basketball. This is the Leonard Hamilton Show. Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Try a game changer of your own. Taste the feeling. And by SunTrust, the official bank of Florida State Athletics. Now your hosts, G. Deckerhoff and head coach Leonard Hamilton. Welcome to the Leonard Hamilton Show. We talk Florida State basketball today, and Coach, we're in the heart of the ACC schedule, and by golly, we're almost in the home stretch portion of the ACC schedule already.
Well, this has been a great and exciting season for a lot of basketball fans. There's no doubt that the people are saying that this is the best basketball season that they've seen in years because it's been so competitive from top to bottom.
Coach, when you go on the road, you are greeted by the student section first, and then the rest of the crowd really gets to the game, don't they?
But the thing that concerns us most are those great players that we're playing against on the opponent's team every night out. You are faced with some of the best basketball teams in the country, and it's extremely challenging.
On today's program, highlights of Florida State's trip to South Bend, Indiana. Also a chance to visit with Michael Ojo and freshman Jonathan Isaac. That's all part of today's show. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Leonard Hamilton Show. Today we have highlights of Florida State's trip to South Bend, Indiana. In South Bend, Indiana, you think Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Coach. And a guy by the name of Bonzie Colson was going to have his way with us in this ball game. And you take Bonzie out of the equation, Florida State plays well and we win. But you can't do that, can you?
No, Bonzie took us to the woodshed, no doubt about that. He had a great game, one of the best games I've seen all year. He is an outstanding player. We just didn't went in sync offensively. Defensively, we struggled somewhat, but offensively, I was very disappointed in our shot selection, our ability to move the ball. I just didn't think that we were as consistent as we have been in the past. But we played against a really good basketball team that played us very, very well. And that's the challenge of being in the ACC. Every game, you have to be at your best. Great outlet pass by CJ to Trent, and a great finish on his point. These two youngsters are going to be very good players as they move through their career.
Trent Forrest with 12 big points, and that's I think an ACC career high for him. We get the ball inside, and Brian Angola Rodas gets a nice little runner in the lane.
Well, Brian has an awful lot of talent. We know that he's going to be a very good player for us. He's really adjusting. We expecting him to be a very instrumental part of the success of our program as he moves through his career.
Old saying in basketball, if you follow your shot, good things will happen. That's exactly what Trent Forrest just did.
Well, Trent has really had a great year for us. He's contributed in so many different ways, on and off the court, but he's become a good defender. He makes great decisions with the ball. I can't say enough about how pleased we have been with how well he's played for us.
Another couple of steals by Trent Forrest, too. One of the ACC's top thieves and the best steal artist as a freshman in the conference.
Wow, I'm looking at the score, and it's really closely contested at this particular point.
At halftime, it's a 9-point ball game, but, Coach, we were about a basket away from making it closer at halftime. In the second half, again, this is where Bonzie Colson really took over, but the Seminoles aren't going to go away. Jonathan Isaac didn't score as many points as he is averaging, but he played a sound floor game.
Well, there's no doubt that we are learning, we're still growing. We have a lot of inexperienced guys on our team, but we have a chance to be a good basketball team, and I'm really excited about the future of this program, and we just want to make sure that we do a little bit better as we finish the last 4 or 5 games of the year and see whether or not we can finish the season on a positive note.
Terrence Mann led us in scoring with 15 points. He also had 4 big rebounds, almost a flawless day from the floor, 7 of 9 on floor shots. Here's Trent Forrest leading the fast break, and he'll finish.
That's an awful good play there. But we're down by a substantial amount. This is one of those games where I just thought that Notre Dame played a lot better than we did on this particular day.
Dwayne Bacon with almost a patented shot of his, that little flip up as he drives through the lane. And now against the zone defense, here's C.J. Watt. He had a fan club there in South Bend, Indiana. He grew up in Indianapolis.
Well, he grew up in Indianapolis, and he had a lot of people come and watch him play. Here's Dwayne taking the ball to the basket. We just didn't get enough of other positive things going offensively to complement how well Dwayne played.
Jonathan Isaac has a knack for rebound. He's our leading rebounder and the top freshman rebounder in the conference. Here's Terrence Mann with 2 of his 15 points. It's a nice slam dunk from the left. In transition, we didn't let them set up in their defense that time.
Well, once again, I'm very proud of the fact that our guys have a better understanding right now how we have to play when we go on the road. we've lost to some pretty good teams on the road. There's no doubt about that. Now, what we have to do now is learn from those mistakes and make sure that we finish very strong.
One number just jumps out at you, Coach, free throws. We did not shoot free throws very well, and sometimes that happens on the road, and it becomes almost a mental thing. But make free throws, we have a chance to maybe knock them off.
No doubt about that. We did not shoot free throws very well, and we've had 2 games prior to that where we shot exceptionally well from the free throw line. So you know it's mental. Hopefully we've grown up a little bit, and now that we move toward our next road game, we'll be much better prepared.
Up next, a chance to visit with one of the tallest Seminoles ever, Michael Ojo. That's just around the corner. We're talking Florida State basketball today on the Leonard Hamilton Show. And, Coach, after looking at highlights, Florida State Notre Dame, a chance for us to visit with a couple of Seminoles. And up next, the senior ambassador of Florida State basketball. I say that because he's an international relations major, so he has to be an ambassador. Is Michael Ojo.
He's very popular on campus, there's no doubt about that. He has really been an ambassador for our basketball program since he's been at Florida State.
Let's visit with Michael for a moment.
In his 5 years taking the court at the Tuck, Michael Ojo has undoubtedly become a Seminole fan favorite.
That's some good sportsmanship there. Michael Ojo, by the way, good run for mayor on the campus there at Tallahassee.
Standing at 7'1", his imposing presence on the court is undeniable. But it's his maturity and affable personality that won the hearts of his teammates and his coaches.
You know, Michael's just one of those kids that you want to see him do well because he cares. He has big goals for himself, for his family. He wants to be able to give back by using college and basketball to better his family's life and his life in the future. And so you just draw close to those kind of guys because you want to see them make it the best they can to achieve the most they can.
Ojo, he funny. I mean, like he like to cook and stuff. And he just crack jokes all the time.
I'll probably say his jokes are corny, but he's funny dude.
So, you know, whenever somebody make a good play, he's into it, he's happy for everybody, but he's still a monster on the court.
XRM, he'll give the ball back to Ojo and Fairley for a slam dunk. Fast break, Florida State.
Michael's drive was instilled in him at a young age, having grown up in a household that strongly valued education. Honoring a promise he made to his mom, Michael continues to prioritize his academics and excels in the classroom.
And I made that promise that I'll get my degree.
Michael Olajin Ojo.
As I was leaving my continent, you know, Africa, coming over here to America, just tried to hold on to that promise, you know. And she was really happy, you know, when I finished my undergrad. And I told her, hey, I'm applying for my master's. She was like, whoa, good.
After researching how to best prepare for life beyond basketball, Michael took the initiative to attend local professional development programs.
Those leadership program will be one of my, you know, advantage over other candidates in future. And just learning more about life, you know, learning more about, you know, how to become successful in life outside of sports. That's why I will go to all those seminars and, you know, just seeing what's out there.
He's just motivated, you know, coming from where he came from. A degree is the most important thing to him, and basketball is second. He, you know, gives us insight on what's really important.
It's that ambition that makes Michael a leader to his teammates both on and off the court.
He also brings a great personality. He brings a toughness. He brings a leadership button pusher that can kind of get after guys a little bit when they need to be picked up a little bit.
Michael Ojo simply being Michael Ojo has earned him a starting spot in one of the most successful seasons in Seminole history.
He lays it up and in, the big fella.
It's put him on track to graduate with his master's in international affairs this May. And all who know him would agree that it will lead him to be successful in whatever his future holds.
Whatever happens with basketball, there's always a life after basketball, you know. You can't play basketball forever, so just try to make plans down the road.
I'm Catherine Phillips for The Leonard Hamilton Show.
Well, after visiting with Michael Ojo just a few moments ago, Coach, he's the oldest Florida State basketball player, and one of the youngest is a tall drink of water, 6'10" freshman. Jonathan Isaac grew up in Naples, played at IMG last year, and by golly, he's opening some eyes this year, isn't he?
No doubt. Jonathan has had a phenomenal year as a freshman. He's a mainstay on our team. He's kind of a do-it-all kind of player. We're excited about him finishing. We're very happy that he's at Florida State.
In what is being considered one of the most talent-rich years college basketball recruiting has ever seen, Florida State once again succeeded in securing a piece of the action. 2013 saw Florida State capitalize on Xavier Rattan-Mays, and a couple years later, Malik Beasley and Dwayne Bacon would both don the garnet and gold. However, no Florida State recruit has ever been as highly rated or as anticipated as 6'10" forward Jonathan Isaac.
He's not a prototypical or an ideal five-star guy, and he makes it about the other guys before he makes it about himself. He's totally bought in. He loves to play defense. He doesn't ever want to compare himself to just a one-way player.
Everyone's counting on him. Everyone's telling him, you know, he's a top 5, top 10 draft pick. And he has all that in his head, but, you know, he's doing real well by blocking all that stuff out.
While averaging 30 points and 15 rebounds a game during his final 2 high school seasons at the International School in Hollywood, Florida, Isaac continued to rise up the recruiting ladder. He would finish out his high school career at IMG Academy, one of the nation's largest high school powerhouses, specific to developing coveted recruits.
The reason why I went to IMG is because I didn't feel like I was ready to go to college and ready to play in the ACC, so I went with the mindset of adding strength, just getting faster, getting quicker, and just understanding the game better.
In today's landscape of college basketball, it's rare to find a player of Isaac's frame playing the small forward position, making him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenders.
Even though he's 6'10", 6'11", he looks at the game through a perimeter set of eyes, and instinctively he's able to make decisions with the ball and do things that sometimes people his size can't really fathom.
Isaac's versatility brings a unique wrinkle to this team, allowing for the Seminoles to have 4 perimeter players on the court at any given time. With so much room to operate, it's no secret as to why the Seminoles are leading the ACC in dunks.
This team wants me to be more aggressive. They want me to take more of a leadership role, and that's what I'm going to do.
As the season has developed, so too has Jonathan Isaac. During the Seminoles' most recent stretch of 6 straight games against ranked opponents, Isaac has played his best basketball of the year, averaging 14 points and 9 rebounds a game.
Jonathan is still improving. What he's doing, he's taking his work ethic, his attitude, and his skill set, and he's finding ways to contribute.
Despite already being one of the most talented players in all of America, Jonathan Isaac still believes he has plenty of room to mature.
I think I just want to learn more about the game in itself, learn about pick spots, where to score on the floor. I want to get stronger, I want to get faster, I want to be more intelligent on defense and offense.
Many draft scouts have compared Isaac to 8-time NBA All-Star Kevin Durant, who also happens to be the person he models his game after.
My NBA idol is Kevin Durant. I love his length, his efficiency, and just everything about him.
They're both obviously tall. They're both scratching 7 feet. They both can dribble, shoot the 3, shoot the pull-up, floaters, dunks, all. They block shots. He's like his little son.
I mean, he's a different type of guy. I honestly feel like he can be something like the next Kevin Durant. He's a guy that can, do everything at 6'10", 6'11". I always say, he's a guy that can do the things that I can do, but he's just much taller than I am.
Despite a significant amount of competition around the country, if Jonathan Isaac does decide to leave after his freshman year, it's expected for him to be one of the top picks in the 2017 NBA Draft.
When you have a guy like that, only the sky's the limit for him, and if he just keeps developing, he's going to be the face of a franchise one day.
Florida State has consistently been on the cusp of that elusive deep NCAA tournament run, and Jonathan Isaac might just be the missing piece the Seminoles have so desperately needed.
State is taking control of the play.
Sitting near the top of the ACC, FSU men's basketball has come a long way since 1946, the year the program was first introduced. Today, Florida State honors the jerseys of those special players, the alumni, like Dave Fedor, who laid the foundation for future Seminole generations.
Well, it's a totally different town than when I attended school here, but it's always a pleasure to come back. It's a pleasure to see old teammates, and it's going to be a pleasure to watch this year's team play because they're off to a great start.
I'm like a pioneer. I think I'm a pioneer of Florida State. For these guys, they don't know what we went through to make them where they are today.
The basketball alumni event was also a great way for former teammates to reconnect after returning to their old stomping grounds.
And the relationships that you develop through all that time, those are really what's special, because you come back to the reunions and you talk about 1 or 2 games, but you talk about all the players you had and what they're doing and how they've done, and you see the wives, and then you see their children, and then you see their grandchildren. And so, you know, that's what's special from my perspective.
Not only did Hugh Durham score over 1,000 points, averaging 18.1 per game as a player himself for the FSU basketball team in the 1950s, he also served as the Noles head coach from 1966 to 1978, leading his team in 230 victories. Durham's talents are recognized by his induction into 6 different Halls of Fame. Dave Fedor, Ron King, and Hugh Durham have contributed more than blood, sweat, and tears for the progress of Seminole basketball. In fact, they make up 3 of only 5 players in FSU history to have their basketball jersey numbers honored by the university. One man in particular, Dave Cowens, raised the bar so high, he remains the only Florida State men's basketball alumnus to have his jersey number officially retired. While playing under head coach Hugh Durham from 1967 to 1970, Cowens won team MVP 3 times and averaged among the program's best in per-game scoring and total rebounds.
Anytime you can be part of something kind of early on and you see how it just evolves, you think, well, we did a little bit of something to make that happen. Just because it's like everything's a stepping stone, you know.
Like his former head coach, Cowens and his teammates place special emphasis on the relationships they developed during their time at FSU.
Saying, well, we were here, we did a pretty good job while we were here, you know. And then and what you really cherish is the people you did it with.
The alumni event was a victory for both Florida State and the former student athletes, as it brought together some of the most legendary men's basketball players the university has ever seen.
I'm so proud of FSU. I'm so proud to be alumni at FSU.
You know, Coach, it was great. That reunion weekend was just something special, and 3 of the members of the retired number crew were in attendance, including Hugh Durham.
Well, I enjoyed seeing all those guys. They seem to be very happy with their stay and the experience and the camaraderie of an experience they had at Florida State. They seem to be all jolly and telling some a lot of stories about their careers here.
Yeah, Ron King's stories get bigger and bigger and bigger, and he scored 70 points in one ball game. No, he really did. Now, Coach, the week ahead, now we have to go on the road. The way the schedule works, we have 2 home games remaining and 3 more away games, but next up it's Pittsburgh.
Next up is Pittsburgh, a team that's been playing very well, had a lot of near victories. They were successful against Syracuse last week. We know they're a good basketball team. We know we got to be at our very best. And then we had to come back home and play against a very game Boston College basketball team.
Yeah, in a quick turnaround, you play a Saturday 4 o'clock game, then you got Boston College coming to the Tucker Center. Coach, can't emphasize enough, this is a great season to be a Florida State basketball fan. Noles are in the thick of that championship hunt in the regular season, and only 2 more home games, and Monday night is a huge ball game for us.
No doubt about that. We just got to finish strong, take it one game at a time. We know how important to finish strong is in the ACC, so we're excited about this opportunity.
That's our show for today. Thanks for joining us on the Leonard Hamilton Show. Go Seminoles. This has been the Leonard Hamilton Show, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Try a game changer of your own. Taste the feeling. And by SunTrust, the official bank of Florida State Athletics.